Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the March 12, 2015 work session for the Forsyth County Board of Education. If you all stand, we'll do the invocation and the pledge. Let us pray. Dear Father, accept our thanks for all the blessings you have given us, as well as the many challenges and opportunities that lie ahead of us. Guide us tonight as we meet and do the work of the great schools of Forsyth County. We ask that you continue to protect our troops and public servants, both here and abroad, that they may return home safely to their families. May we serve you with honor and glory in all that we do. Amen. Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have before us an agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? That's unanimous with Darla Light and Tom Cleveland absent. Our first item tonight is presentation and discussion is construction update by Mr. Tom Lenning.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
We're pleased to report significant progress on several of the school projects really throughout the bond program. Starting with the high schools, the three major additions and renovation at North, Forsythe Central, and South. Each of those in the next week time period from the construction management perspective are going through a very intense competition of best and final offers. And we've got that staggered. Fortunately, we completed that process on South today. Next Thursday, we will be completing that process with the three shortlisted CMs in an intense competitive best and final offer interview on the 18th, and then following that will be Central on the 26th. Today we just received on Central the initial proposals from the marketplace. So we're pleased that all of that is proceeding as it should, so that the CM again works in the next 2 months collaboratively with the design team, and then we begin construction in the summer. Simultaneous with that, from a logistics perspective, we currently have modular units at North and South in the location where the new building program elements will take place. So if you go to those campuses even today, you'll see the temporary parking lots being constructed, which then allows for the dislocation of the new modular units that we're putting in to make up for the modular units that are in place of where the new buildings go, so they can be removed, and in the process we don't lose any parking space. So all of that mission is all coming together extremely well. Moving on then to Lambert, we submitted the design to the state today, which is on schedule. That allows us then to begin the advertisement at the end of this month and go through the general contractor competition process. Allows us again to start construction the day after school ends, and that's really the consistent mission throughout the district. And then on High School 7, design is underway with the contract, the architect's contract ratified last month. He's working feverishly, and our first design meeting is next week on that. So we're moving forward on all of those high school projects, and in addition to what's not listed, because it's really not part of the bond program, but certainly integral, is the artificial field at Lambert we're proceeding with as well, that process. Moving on to the middle schools, and that it's really both a middle school item and some of the miscellaneous elementary school items. In addition to the significant capital program, we've got significant life cycle costs and needs within the system itself. So you'll see the entries of the Capital City Mechanical as well as another mechanical contractor downstream for that'll be ratified later in the action items to take place for life cycle. So that's happening concurrently with the new projects. Then moving on to DeSanta. Even though it has been raining, fortunately we're on schedule with the site work for that, as well as the site work at Brandywine. And to give everyone a little feel of what that's going to look like versus the mud that you see today, that's a rendering. I'm not sure of your digital images that you see, so we have a physical copy if it's not real legible.
I was curious, because I wanted to see how much, looks very much like Brookwood.
Yeah, so to share with you, it's the traditional color scheme, natural earth tones. In this case, because it is an elementary school, we'll have some brighter colors on the inside with accents. And because of the proximity to DeSanta, it will be similar in color scheme and earth tone, traditional in nature, and then the colors interior will not be as bright given its progression of the middle school age versus the elementary school. So that's an overview of where we're at. It's all progressing as it should. Any questions?
Has the upturn in the economy and so much construction going on, is that, as far as your big projects at the high school, is that affecting pricing or?
Yes, it's putting pressure, upward pressure, meaning the prices are coming in higher, but higher relative to the low of where we were in the Great Recession, and certainly comparable to all of the school districts that are currently under construction as we consistently benchmark and look at those costs compared to other school districts that are currently constructing as well.
Oh, that's good to know.
But that's a great question, Kristin, because it's something we are going to have to continue to monitor throughout this process, because the world has changed dramatically, even since the bond was passed.
Since we put it together.
The economy has improved, and therefore, with the economy improving, people are not sharpening their pencil as they once were. I mean, some of these companies were in survival mode a few years ago, and some were doing jobs even at a loss just to stay afloat. Now, not only are they trying to make a little bit of profit, but also, from a business standpoint, make up for lost ground over the last couple of years. And so we're seeing more and more of that. And so as a board, we're going to have to watch that over the next couple, 3 years and just see what transpires. But there's no question prices are getting higher all the time.
It's going to be interesting to see if the SPLOST revenue is up in proportion.
Right.
It wouldn't cover all of it, I wouldn't think, but I would hope that
Yeah.
it would offset some, maybe.
We're hoping so, too.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's just something we're continuing to watch. But I think it's fair to say, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, that we continue to move forward. I mean, we said we were going to do certain projects, and I think it's incumbent upon us to do so because of our enrollment and growth, and we have to take care of the needs of our students. The expenditure versus revenue side is something we have to continue to monitor, and it may be something we have to talk about in the next couple of years. But it's a very good, valid point, and I don't think it's too early to kind of put it on there, on the radar for everybody right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, good luck with that.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Do you have the rendering? Or do you need it?
Yeah, I got it. I drew that, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's got my initials on it, so.
Oh, okay.
The A and the K.
All right, next item is future agenda items. Does anybody have anything to add for the future? All right, item 5, action items. A is estimated gravel for South Forsythe and North Forsythe High School parking areas. Mr. McKnight?
As Tom was just explaining, we're having to do some additional parking at both South and North. At South, I think there's 5 different areas where we're actually going to be putting additional parking, and at North, there's 2 areas. One is very big and one's pretty small. But in order to do those, we have to buy gravel, and it takes a lot of gravel, kind of like what we had to do when we did Lambert. And so we wanted to come to the board and let them know that we're going to make an expenditure on that. And so what we're asking for is permission to purchase, and of course it'll only be what it'll be. We'll start off with the lowest bidder, and as long as they can supply us, we'll go that way, but if they start holding us up as far as being able to get the work done, we'll have to go with some of the others. But we're asking you to approve $120,000 plus a 10% contingency to get this work done.
Bill, we're not able to recoup all of the parking that, especially we're going to lose the
That's
south.
correct, and I wanted to say, you know,
Okay.
we're not going to, there's not going to be the actual same
Right.
amount, but they'll be pretty close to it.
Right, and then what about at north? Is that going to be close to the same as what we have now, or is there going to be less?
It'll be fairly close. What
Okay.
we're basically doing at North, we're building a lot up front that will be used when we move the modular building in during spring break. That'll be used for the students to park there. And as soon as we get that done, then we're going to move down and start the lot down near the transportation bus shop.
Right.
And we'll move the buses over to there, and then we'll let the students park where the buses are now.
And you probably know, Mr. Cheney and his team are working on a plan on how to work with the parking that they will be left with after this process. Anytime you lose spaces, you know as well as I do, that causes some upset. They're trying to communicate that with their stakeholders, that this is something we're going to be going through. As was pointed out to me, though, next fall, even though there'll be less parking than they have now, it's more parking than they had a few years ago.
That's correct.
But you
And
know,
it sounds-
people really don't care about that, they care about what they lost, yeah.
Were we able to take the sheriff's departments up on their offer for the few spots across the street, well behind?
Yes, we're going to be building, one of the biggest lot is going to be across the street from where they are, and also we are taking the tennis courts down, and we're going to use that also. So we're going to get a lot of parking there, and then we've got one area going up where you come out onto 141. We'll put a lot on either side of that. And then we've got two more areas, one right down near the school, which will probably become the visitor parking, and then we've got another one over on the side toward the church. So all of that combined, hopefully, will,
Piecemeal, yeah.
it's, you know, we never have enough parking, we all know
Right.
that, especially at the high school level. And if you're the last person that doesn't get a spot, then you're really upset. But we're going to do the best we can for them to get them absolutely every space that we can squeeze in. A little more difficult at south than at north because
Yeah.
we don't have as much real estate.
We're landlocked, yeah. Okay, well, with that, I'd recommend approval of the purchase of Grapple.
All right, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Nancy, a second by Ann. All in favor? It's unanimous with Tom Cleveland and Darla White absent. Next item, Mr. McKnight, HVAC replacement.
Yes, this is HVAC replacement at Davis Creek, Settles Bridge, North Forsythe Middle School, and Vickery Creek Middle School. This was part of our 5-year plan. We will receive some state funding for reimbursement for some of this work. We are recommending, we bid this work out, and we had 3 different contractors respond. I believe you probably have a sheet that shows that. We're recommending Waters Mechanical. They've never done any work here, but I met with Mr. Waters myself earlier this week, and we had a very good discussion. And I think
the Waters from around
he understands. No, different group. These people are from down around Savannah.
Okay.
I think he understands our anticipated, what we expect from him, and he's guaranteed me that he'll get it done. He looked me in the eyes when he did it, so I think we should at least give him a try here. Capital City Mechanical was the low bid at Settles Bridge, North Forsythe Middle School, and Vickery Creek Middle School. They've done a lot of work here, and we've been very pleased with the work that they've done for us in the past.
So just a quick question, Bill. So if I added up the numbers roughly, so this is about $5 million, which is a lot. And that money is coming out of our bond.
Correct.
So out of our $195 million, this is one of the many things.
Well, yes, it does come out of the bond, but it's not the new construction bond, it's the life cycle part
Right.
of it.
Well, that's what my point is. I think a lot of people are under the assumption that the bond we recently passed is all about new construction. And in a lot of cases, it's life cycle items like this.
Well, there's money in the bond for a lot of different things. There's
Yeah.
technology money, there's money for
Safety.
a lot of different
Yeah.
groups.
Yeah, so it's just important that we point out along the way when we're, fixing up some of our schools that have been around a little while.
Did these dollar amounts come in close to what we had planned?
It is.
Okay.
All right, with that, I'd recommend approval of the HVAC work.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
A motion by Ann, a second by Nancy. All in favor? It's unanimous with Darla Light and Tom Cleveland absent. I guess all we have left now is executive session. Do I have a motion for personnel only, I assume?
So moved.
Yes.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Thank you very much.